The last program we ended, I remember we talked about the importance of the educational process in a person's life. So much so that it is important to learn well. We have the opportunity to move forward, to overcome our limits, and knowledge gives us IT. We talked about how important it is to set limits within the educational process as something positive. We have limits is positive. Every time a child learns the reason for having limits, every time a child is well taught, so that he has to deal with social limits. The limits of the body, the limits of life, is so good to all of us. It is not. Because a well-educated child will interfere very positively in society. The quality of education of a country makes a difference in the qualification of the citizen. The educated human being, the truly polite, is the one who knows how to reach a place, who knows how to be with people, is the one who knows how to respect the rules of life, is the one who knows how to respect the rules of his own body. Have you ever wondered to think about it? To be polite is also to respect what you are, to respect the space that the other has. And you are not so invasive with your words, your questions, with your interference. You know how to respect the other's time. Being educated is that, being thin. Right. It is you understand when you should arrive and when you should leave, how you should arrive, how you should leave. Elegance goes through these questions. We spoke precisely how important it is to educate for this human elegance, to this nobility of soul. Psychology taught me that, my people, no human being is by chance. No one gets a bad guy overnight. No one decides to kill overnight. And that's where we stop thinking. It was so pertinent to our reflection last week from an email of a teacher, just saying, lamenting the lack of boundaries within school. Only it's not just at school. It is indoors that we start receiving the first lessons of the human limity. It is indoors that we will learn. My son cannot. This is not beautiful to do, is it? I learned the moral rules from aesthetics, because my mother always had a habit of saying, "That's ugly. That's beautiful. Doing this with your fellow is not beautiful. It's ugly. Humiliating people is ugly. Talking badly to people is an ugly thing. It is ethics from aesthetics. We understand good and evil from the beautiful and the ugly." Aesthetic references, and then when I went to study philosophy, is that I went to see how wise my mother was to teach me without ever attending even the right school. My mother, but she taught me from simple rules that any human being identifies in life, any human being can identify. This is beautiful. This is ugly, even if we have different tastes. Me mother, without knowing that she knew, she taught me ethics from the fundamental principle. If we make no effort to renew within us, we risk losing hope with the world, my people. It has moved a lot, and will always move the suffering of a mother who has to bury a child. It also moves me, the father, but I don't know why. I identify in the heart of the mother who suffers the loss of a child, perhaps the deepest suffering that humanly we can experience and witness. The pain of you having to bury the one you generated. Pain of having to bury your part. Your half. And the worst, it's not because the time has come. I am not adept at this theology that says that fatality was all God's will. No, I don't believe it. The misfortune, it is built every time human dedication is missing. We have no right to judge our crimes on the back of God. God wants us alive. God wants us increasingly happy. God wants us living. And the natural process of life is to die sick, after the whole body has tired. A natural process of aging loses its vitality. Because age is coming, will stop working, and you will turn out like a light Thetan day. It was lit, which was getting matte, until you lose its shine and leave. Should be like this. We anticipate death in our decisions. I anticipate my death in my way of living. I anticipate my death in my way of eating, in my way of leading my life. in my way of taking care of my health. We create diseases with our modern foods, with our pesticides. Life is like this. And family. My people. I do not only refer to the father, the mother, and the brothers. No, because sometimes our parents die ahead of time, but someone will play the role in our lives. When I speak family, I am talking about the nearby human group that has the possibility of having an influence on us, which has the possibility of teaching us ethics, which has the possibility to teach us the limit, which has the possibility to teach us the kindness, the values, which has the possibility to put within us a code of conduct that is worth following. When I speak family, I'm talking about all those people who can be by our side, who has what I call effective authority. Someone when you talk to me, someone when you give me advice, when you give me a word, find inside my heart a repercussion. Why? Because I consider it. It is that person who looks in our eyes at the moment of our weakness, our fragility, recognizes this weakness, and indicates us ways to overcome it. We need to open our eyes. We need to open our table so we can reflect. How are we educating our children? Am I not just stating a future killer inside my house? Is the essentials not missing the essentials in my children's lives? Am I not neglecting my founding role in my children's lives? Because before you are an excellent businessman, before being a businesswoman, you are a mother. You are our father. And this is the first venture that has no right to fail in your life. When we put a child in the world, we are making a commitment to making her big, to make her people, so that it is no longer one to be a promoter of violence that has hurt so much the heart of our society, which has done so badly to us. My people, it is no moral lesson that I am now talking about. Even because I am immersed in the same context of miseries as you, I am in the same situation as everyone. I am also trying to find within myself some answer that serves me and that gives me conditions to enter this world, to act in this world, so that I am also a factor to reduce this violence, that I go through the lives of people and can awaken in them a desire to be a little better. People who are directly linked to our responsibility, those I need to educate, those who are directly linked to my responsibility. And then the crime is being managed because of it, because we do not know, because we don't, it has intimacy. And worst of all, my people, is that we are all unprotected. We have no way to close our lives and say, we are free of these lonely, these unfortunates. And that's why I say that we need to reduce these lonely and these unfortunates, educating, increasingly creating a system. The government needs to think about it in the instances that concern it. But you and I need to create these instances within our homes, so that those who go through our ability to educate be a little better, or that they do not thicken the line of those who violate, those who lie, those who steal, those who kidnap. And life gets like this. We are gestating these people. They are staying among us. They kidnap our joy. They will kill the people we love, and we cannot be indifferent to it. And I believe something can be done, that somehow this violence is being created near us. We need to open our eyes to find out if we are not contributing to the process of making these people so violent, so unbalanced, so capable of spreading wickedness and what is not good. All. When we enter this world, we begin the need to be educated. Christian anthropology tells us beautifully that we were born individuals. What is individual? One who is not able to separate from himself. The individual is absolutely limited. He doesn't know how to get out of him. But our vocation is to be a person. And Christian anthropology tells us that we are only people when we are in possession of what we are, and being in possession of what we are, give ourselves to others. This is what makes us be a person. But it is the movement is not only when you have, that you have heard many times that you cannot give the other what you do not have yet, is not true. It is a rule of life. Who does not have will not give to someone in a beautiful way. But it is not just if you have that you are a person. The same way either is not just if you are a person. Christian anthropology tells us that we are people when we live the movement of terms and give ourselves. But we need to be educated for that. When you were a child, you were unable to share anything. You didn't even understand your mother as someone else. You thought your mother was an extension of your needs. So much so that there is a phase of our lives that we want to incorporate the world by the mouth. We want to chew everything, because everything we interpret as a part of ours. You never consider that this bite can hurt your mother. You are unable to wait for your mother to finish taking a shower to take your food or the blanket of your cold, the water of your thirst. You know when you started to be polite? When you started to understand that when we have a toy, the fun to have a toy is when we play with someone. When we share what we have with someone. Our first movement is always individualistic. It is no problem. It is a normative phase in psychology. We call it. You have to go through it. But if you are not aware of this moment to educate you, so that the moment you understand the first steps of solidarity, you will never be able to be an entire person. No, it will always be marked by the selfishness of wanting everything to you. To want everything in your time. Everything in your time. When we understand who we are as people, you learn to give. It is therefore, my people, that having a home, which is much more than a cluster of walls. I often say that the home is a feeling that occurs to us. It is an intimacy that you immediately realize when you enter inside. What is the wealth of your home? The beautiful walls, the classic coatings, the beautiful furniture? No. The luxury we can have indoors is the people who love us and educate us to get to the best God wants from each of us. You started to be evangelized is not when you went to catechesis. It was when the mother realized that you were being selfish with your little brother. And she came to give you the first solidarity lesson that generated the multiplication of bread. Not my daughter. Don't be selfish. The first evangelical lesson we received in life did not come with the religious formats of preaching, nor catechesis. That's when you found that it only makes sense to have to share with someone. You started learning to divide what you had, and then you evolved so much in understanding the division that you started to exercise the highest shape of division, which is not giving what you have is to give who you are. Because sometimes you will find a lot of poor people who need materially from our help, especially these days, when Brazil is so impoverished in so many places, in so many situations. A lot of people will need you to take a little bit that you have and contribute. In fact, in our peripheries where the simplest people live, solidarity reigns. Much more sometimes than among rich people in possession. There it is beautiful. You understand that when you get your hand from your pocket to go to give something to someone, you are killing the material hunger, the one that hurts on the body. But make no mistake, most of the time, people will ask you to kill the emotional hunger she has. People are very needy to find others that are hurting. And this is the evangelizing gesture that most convinces the people these days. Those who do not believe us, my people. And what do they expect from us? A moralist message? No. Shut. At first, you can't even talk about morals. Let's talk later. When love is established, the first thing we need to do is look into the eyes of these people who are thirsty for God and offer them the God who dwells us. I have a God who lives in me, and he is so big that he does not fit me. I need to share it with you. Most of the time, my people, me as a priest, people come to me for it. Most of the time, what people expect from me is that I give a little of what God is in me. Offer me the God who is in you. When we relate, it is beautiful when you realize that your friendship relationship or your dating relationship, who then became a marriage, is a relationship where you offer the God who inhabits each of you. Then we are whole people because it is the Christ gathering our parts, helping us in evolution. Because the devil, do you know what is the great goal of the devil? Is that we stay in an individual our entire lives. Because the devil has a lot of chance in the individualistic heart. in the heart that does not think of the other, in the heart that is always marked by envy, pride, arrogance, lack of charity. And we don't want to give this space. I want everything in me to be polished for me to be a person. And being a person, the God who dwells me can smile at the God who dwells in you. This is your vocation. When you say that God dwells you, that God is in you, how can you reconcile the emotional arrests we so often live with the certainty that God is in us? If you are a consecrated territory, eternally conquered by the Lord, it makes no sense to divide with what destroys you. Does it make no sense to feed the addictions that depersonalize, that overshadow the image and likeness of God in you? Don't make sense you feed that dating, that promiscuous relationship, indecent, disrespectful, where you feel much more a public square, where the other throws your emotional trash and is not concerned about the evil he does to you. And is it liberation? Sometimes what God expects from us is that you end that relationship that is overshadowing the image and likeness of him, because you cannot establish bond with anyone who doesn't want you the same as God wants you.